So we can jump into the topic of the day, right? We do, like I said, we have different audiences, different niches, but the message is the same, right? You gotta you gotta have a system of managing your money. Um, you gotta be on top of it, and then just you gotta plan for your future, right? So I'll let you start on what your style is, what your system is, and how you coach people, and then I can jump in, talk about my system, and just have those comparisons and that discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited for the. I'll tease the fact that we're turning this into an article as well. So I'm just trying to produce different forms of conversation around these topics of budgeting styles and our approach.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. Absolutely, this is here to help you, you all that are watching and reading these things. But yeah, I think my approach to coaching has absolutely come from a place of personal experience. I mentioned being married. We're coming up on 13 years of marriage, and we probably spent the first decade plus of our marriage trying to figure out a good rhythm for budgeting for my
Yeah.
wife and I. Never could find anything that would stick. We tried several different methods from, I mean, you name it. We've probably gone through that process in some shape or form. But our issue was that we couldn't find anything to stick. We have very full schedules. Um, Great community around us, lots of commitments, and they're good things that we've chosen, but that would always cause our personal financial situation to fall to the back burner. So we
Yeah.
would start usually at the beginning of the year, the end of the previous year, whatever it looked like, rebuild our budget, and then not look at it again until that time a year later. So we had
Yeah.
no idea if what we were doing was actually panning out in reality. So a couple years ago, I don't even know how stumbled across it, but I started to really dig into this idea of automation. And what if I could take as much of our system that we need and
Yeah.
absolutely need in order to pay attention to what is happening in our lives from a money perspective, because it's such a big part of what we do. I know that I need to be managing it wisely, but how do I take as much of the process out of my hands as possible? And so that has led us to the last couple years really trying to automate basically everything we do. It doesn't totally remove us because it's still important to stay in touch and pay attention to what's going on and check
Yeah.
in. But in terms of our budget, we've set it up. It's in a one of the apps that are out there now, and we can talk more about that if we want to, but it doesn't matter. They all do the same thing. But all of our transactions are imported. They update our budget automatically. That's very helpful. And then saving, investing, paying bills, like as much as I could get off of my plate that I know is going to be happening in the background, the better for us. And
Yeah.
so the style that I actually coach now is centered around that. It is
Okay.
taking your life, figuring out how to put uh, almost everything possible into an automated process so that you can focus on living your life.
Nice. And yeah, that's really great. And how do you see how has that changed your communication and your marriage and topics about finances with your wife?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's as simple as it's made a very subjective conversation objective because of
Okay.
the fact that we have the data right in front of us. What we were neglecting to do in the past is now just happening automatically. Um,
Correct.
and so, as long as we're staying in touch and not assuming that we're still spending the money, especially in those variable categories that are not just like an auto bill pay or something like that, or auto
Yeah.
save or auto draft or auto transfer or whatever that looks like. We still need to stay in touch. But what this has changed for us now is that we can uh, open our app up, look at whatever that budget category is, and actually
Correct.
see in reality what is going on.
All right. Man, that's really good. And I think it's just having going through that cycle, especially for folks that are married, right? I find it's very important to be on the same page financially. And I think there's a statistics out there that the biggest reason for people separating or even divorcing. Uh, Finance is a huge contributor.
Mhm. Yep.
And I love that you and your wife went through that and finally found something that works, right?
Mhm.
Um, Similar thing with me and my wife. We've been married just about 13 years now, and we went the first 5 years were a little rough financially, just because we started our family very young, and we were working low wage jobs, so our finances were super stretched. But we came to a decision and said, hey, really, to be able to live comfortably, we're gonna have to do something, and that came down to both of us going back to school at the same time with little kids. So I mean, you can imagine the schedule was crazy. We wanted to pay most of it, so again, that's another financial stressor. Um, and it got to a point where, and I have an article on how we ended up deciding we need to sit down and budget. So I'll folks that are that's one of the article that I say that I talk about that. But anyway, we get to a point where, all right, we gotta sit down and figure out what we're gonna do. What we are making is not enough to pay all our bills. So how can we do this, right? And we started really being intentional on how we are spending every paycheck, and we wrote down all the recurring bills, and then there's obviously, like with kids, things come up that you hadn't planned for, so we'll try to anticipate that and just kind of list it down every 2 weeks, and then we'll sit down and pay whatever is coming up. And that habit stuck. We didn't know that there was a name for that kind of budgeting style, and later on came to learn it's called zero-based budgeting, and we've used it ever since, to do our budgeting and to pay off most of our debts. We still have some major ones like our mortgage, student loans. Those are the major ones that we're tackling now, and we continue to use this system where you sit down and you allocate every dollar from your paychecks or whatever your income source is, to give it a job, and that includes paying off your debt, includes your bills, savings, obviously investment. Right at the end of that budgeting session or that budgeting period, you don't have any money left. It's zero. And I highly encourage people to include fund money, right? Because you don't want to be too stringent and not enjoy what you're doing. But I found that style has helped us to really understand each other and clearly communicate where what what's what, right? This money is for these, and that's what we planned. We've agreed on, and it's become less of a fight. And we've started integrating automation. So we are semi-automating things, especially like for savings, for healthcare, our retirement automatically comes out of our paycheck. We don't even think about it. And then other things, with the discipline that we build, leveraging credit cards so that we can build our points, be able to travel cheaply, things of that nature. But again, it's a lot of these things you do over time. You develop the habit and the discipline, and just that it takes time, right?
Mhm.
But I think that, so those are the two different styles where you're fully automated, or maybe 90% automated. We may be like 60% automated. Some things we still sit down and make decisions on: do we pay this bill full? Like, in our town, our CO bill comes every once a year, so it's a huge bill when it comes to
Mhm.
us. So that's one of those things that we sit down and we say, okay, we'll pay half of it, and then in the next 2 weeks we'll pay the rest of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, and just learning from you has been such a reminder to us too, and I mentioned this in our writing as well, but it's easy for there's just give and take from both of these options
Yeah.
because it's easy on the automation side of things and to skip over any of those check-in points, especially if
Yeah.
you're doing this with a spouse, and just because again you assume that it's all happening, and a lot of it is, but that doesn't mean that we should take our eyes off of it,
Yeah.
and not still pay attention because we do still have to remain aware. But what the like fully automated approach can do is it can make it very easy, especially in a full schedule with families and all that we have going on in life, to just skip over our budget check-in meeting. So that's even one thing that I think our family personally still has a challenge in, is making sure that we actually still do those. So I
Yeah.
love hearing from you that it's that you're in this habitual place with your spouse where you consistently sit down and talk through these things, and that's because of what works about your approach.
Yeah.
And it's something that I think we can take from each other and really be able to learn. But even for whoever's listening to this right now, I think being able to take a look at whatever season of life that you're in, whatever your current financial situation is, whatever personality type you have.
Yes.
The saying goes that personal finance is personal because you've got to figure out what works for you.
Correct.
But it's
Yeah.
just so important to find that space where um, not only you understand it and you're motivated by it, but it's something that you're actually going to do.
Yeah.
There's I just heard the other day that personal finance is like the top subject matter on Substack.
Mm, yeah.
So we're not short on information by any means.
There's
So
plenty of
it's
it.
yeah, it's really a matter of finding what works for you, and
Yeah.
then really, really, really doing it.
And I totally agree. And like you said, that's a drawback to automation where you might set it and forget it too much, right?
Mm,
And I see the same thing with like zero based budgeting. It can get exhausting, right? Because if you like, I'm a person that really like, when I'm passionate about something, I go in 100%.
mm,
And not everybody is like that. There's money produces anxiety to some people. So if it's something that you really you find an approach that works for you, and if you looking at your finances almost every day or multiple times a week gives you stress, maybe zero based budgeting is not for you. But again, anything that's new, anything that you're not used to, will produce that uncomfortable feeling. And over time, just like going to the gym, the first time you go there, you're gonna be super sore, but over time, your body get used to you today. Same thing with personal finances. First time, it's gonna look crazy, but I promise whoever who's listening that over time it gets a lot easier. And your mind and your behavior changes a lot. And you're able to say no to some things that you haven't been able to say in the past, because you know that, look, I've already made decisions on where my money is going. I'm not going to be able to go out and spend $200 on dinner with friends, so things like that. um,
absolutely. Yeah, I think it's important to say that we're fully aware that not everyone loves to uh, think about, let alone get on Substack and talk about money for 30 minutes. um, but there's a reality that life costs money for everybody. And
yes.
so there are these camps of people where some people will figure out what we're talking about and really dig into it and manage their money wisely. But then
Yes.
I think there's still so many people in our world that again are still spending money like it's required to survive. Uh, Yet they just don't look at it.
Yeah.
And so I think that the more people we can get into these conversations, the better. And the more that we can uh, normalize uh, talking about these things, the better. Because I think we really do need to uh, just as individuals figure out again how we can approach this subject matter for ourselves in a way where we're developing true confidence in our lives, peace in our lives. I think that
Hmm.
you really can find enjoyment from uh, coming up with some sort of system for your finances that becomes habit. It's something that you can't do without, and it's something that really does build confidence in your life. And you said it a minute ago, like you need a category for fun. I read something
Yeah.
yesterday about how did he say it? It was something along the lines of you need to have expenses in your monthly budget that are could be considered financially irresponsible. Like you're not spending money on this to get a return. Like you're not looking for some sort of like breakthrough ETF where it's
Yeah.
nothing like that. It's I'm gonna take this allotted amount of money and go have like make a memory with my family or do something
True.
that really does bring me joy in life. But you can only do that when you have a foundation of wise stewardship of everything else. You've got an emergency fund. You're getting out of debt like that, like you're focused on. But then you're building the emergency fund. You're starting to invest. You're doing the things that long term are going to set your family up for success. And what that does is it opens the door so you can begin to experience peace and joy and confidence and all the things that we want. But um, yeah, that was a little long-winded, but it's required, so we've got to figure it out. Is what we're getting at.
Correct. And I love that you brought that. You brought that up. That you brought that up again because we are not just working to pay bills.
Mhm.
We're not just working to for the future, right? We gotta live the present, and having some responsibility just creates that reminder that okay, I can't be doing this every day, but this was fun.
Mhm.
And if you got creating money costs money, and I remind myself all the time, money is a tool, right? Money is not the end game. It's a
Yep.
tool to make it easy for you and your loved ones. And also, there's that stewardship that you said. It's all when you're blessed with abundance and blessed with opportunities, it's your responsibility to take care of that. And as any tools, if you don't take care of them, they quickly are useless.
Mhm. Absolutely.
So
Well
yeah,
said.
yeah. So what's so far, what's your takeaway from Substack and finances, and in that category?
Our money needs to be in community. Um,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm taking an approach of coaching to my particular platform. It's still in the very early stages, so I'm trying to uh, provide a process people can go through. Absolutely, but I think that it seems like it's designed to be a place where people can interact. Uh, Even from across the world. It's a beautiful thing, but it's a place that, from our perspective with personal finance, if everything we just said is true, then it's a great space where you can use it as an accountability tool for yourself to really take hold of these principles, to apply them in your own life and to really talk about it with others. I think that a lot of times, we talk about removing willpower from the equation through setting up good systems for your money. But I think
Mhm.
something else that helps as a motivating factor is whenever you talk to other people about what you're intending to do. I think our intentions become reality a lot more often whenever we have somebody else checking in on us. I'm thankful that Substack exists to be a place for that.
And I'm so grateful because it really like my mindset, and I've always believed iron sharpens iron, right?
Mhm.
And that's why I reach out to folks like you who are talking about finances because I don't know everything, right? And I want to provide value to others that consuming the content of finance, personal finance. But I can only get better by collaborating and being in engagement with other people that are doing the same thing. So it's a great platform. I'm loving it. It doesn't have a ton of noise as
Mhm.
compared to other platforms, and it's relatively young. But I hope that that this doesn't change. It stays like
Yeah.
this, and it gives opportunity for a lot of creators to have another source of income, right? And in our next thing, I'd love for us to talk about making money, because you can only do so much with what you have, and at some point you want growth, and
Mhm.
that growth, it will look like it can be growth can be in multiple ways, and one of them is financial, right? Where you are now is not going to be, it's not, I'm assuming it's not where you want to be in the next 2, 3, 5 years. You want to improve and you want to have more. So even with budgeting, there's the other side of things that we gotta look and say, okay, I'm bringing in these. How can I bring more?
Mhm.
And when I bring more, what do I do with it? And you gotta be careful about expanding your life, that it becomes you're in the same position where you are 2 years ago, even when you
Mhm.
have more. So that would be an interesting topic to talk about.
Yeah,
But
let's do it.
yeah.
I'd love to.
All right. This really been great. Closing. Is there anything that you want to bring about? We can promote our Substacks. Any articles you want to highlight?
Yeah, go subscribe to Francis. The man's a
Awesome.
genius. No, we,
Hey,
we need each
subscribe
other.
to
We need each
Matt.
other in this. Interact.
Yeah.
If you happen to stumble across this video, then comment on it. Truly lean in. I think that's coming from both of us. I don't want to speak for you, but we really are here to help people. And so
Absolutely.
join the conversation, be a part of this, and we'd love to have you.
Perfect. So for me, I am subscribed to Matt. He's great. He's got wonderful content, and it's really just it's a different perspective, and helps you to decide, okay, which one is the best, right? And like I said, at the end of the day, this is to help you understand your money, manage your money. And another thing, a great book that I'm reading, and I really like, I want to promote it and have people get into it, is psychology of money, right? If you haven't read that, I just started reading it this week. It's a good book that just helps you understand your behavior with your money. There's a ton of other books, but I'm starting with that and I'm loving it already.
That one's on my list to read. I'm currently reading the Essays of Warren Buffett. I don't have it to hold up to the camera, so I'll just cheers to that with my coffee.
Good. All right. So
Yeah.
so then I take it you probably interested in value investing.
What's that?
Do you Are you interested in value investing? In
Yeah. Yeah, and I've
wanting to
I've
get
just
started
heard
with
I
it?
listen to personal finance podcasts and
Yeah.
several different things, and it's been a recommended book on there, as has the Psychology of Money. So
All right.
I know obviously Warren Buffett's one of if not the best to ever do it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've heard good things about this one, and so far it's good.
I gotta check it out. All right, man. This was great. We're coming up to about 28 minutes. I didn't think it was gonna be, this long, but this has been wonderful, and I really
Yeah.
appreciate that you took your time to do this. We are all very busy, and time is a limited resource. So anytime, if any opportunity that I get, and somebody is generous with their time, I feel very blessed and super appreciative of that.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you for your time this morning. I think this was a great conversation. I've had fun.
It's been great. So everybody, look out for our article. We'll try to publish it this weekend, if not early next week. And this video will be in that article. Hey, have a great weekend, and we'll talk later, man.
Sounds good. Take care.
All right, take care. Bye.